around the world about how different cultures can learn from one another. Just last month, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton appointed Mr. Abdul-Jabbar to be the U.S. Global Cultural Ambassador. Tonight he's here to discuss his new book, What Color Is My World? The Lost History of African American Inventors. Publishers Weekly has called the work an entertaining and often surprising exploration of lesser-known innovators past and present. So won't you please join me in welcoming Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Welcome everybody. It's really great to have you all here. Hear your vocal reception. It's wonderful. A lot of people have asked me why I wrote the book, and basically it had to do with the fact that in my childhood, when I was going to grade school, the only times that Black Americans were mentioned in our history books had to do with the issues of slavery and civil rights. And there's so much more to the story, and it never really got told. So I figured that that was a niche for me to exploit and do something so that kids everywhere, especially Black kids, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Especially Black kids could get an idea of what was possible and what the world had to offer them. Too many kids from minority communities are steered into the enterprises of sports and entertainment. And there's so much more that's possible, but we have to give them an idea of what that is. So that's why I wrote this book. And I hope that people who read it will get a better idea. The young people that read it will get a better idea of what's possible for them and the various fields that they can go in to make contributions to their communities and their nation and the world. So that's what it's all about. I'm going to read a brief excerpt, something that I'm very personally involved in. And something that I hope everybody can get behind. Different from my goggles that I've worked with, absolutely essential at this time of my life. Finally, something I really care about. Potato chips. I couldn't survive one day of school lunch without those yummy chips to keep my taste buds alive. Thank you, George Crumb, for inventing them in 1853. Crumb was a chef at a fancy hotel in Saratoga Springs, New York. Half black, half Iran Indian. He must have felt a little intimidated when, as the story goes, Cornelius Vanderbilt, one of the wealthiest people in the United States, sent his meal back to the kitchen, complaining that his potatoes were too soggy. Crumb sliced the potatoes thinner and cooked them, but Vanderbilt sent them back again. Crumb decided to teach the fussy moneybags a lesson. He sliced the potatoes as thin as coins and fried them in boiling oil. Now they were too crisp to be eaten with a fork throughout the country. Crumb made enough money to open his own restaurant, which served his Saratoga chips and catered to some of the wealthiest people in America. That's just a little excerpt. So hope all of you enjoy it. I hope your children enjoy it, really. I'm sure that they will get a lot from this and learn about a few things that will make them start thinking about a lot more than sports and entertainment. And I'm done reading. And yeah, I'll take some questions if you guys have any questions. We've got a few minutes. Just speak loud. Yes, ma'am? Well, if I were not a basketball player and read this book as a child, I don't know. The way it ended up, I probably would have been a history teacher or something like that if I had to have a real job. But we had basketball at that point. So who knows? Yes, ma'am, in the back. wasn't my father. It was one of my father's best friends. Yeah, he was in the 761st Tank Battalion, and they did liberate Bukavu. It was a black battalion that fought for General Patton. Well, I'm very happy, and please, health and happiness to both of them. Yes. Young man here. How many championship rings did I win? I was on the team for 6, and then as a coach, we won 2 more. So I have 8, and you can talk to me. I know you have enough money to buy it from me. Yes, sir. I've been appointed a cultural ambassador by Secretary Hillary Clinton. And what I'm doing is just going to various countries and doing some personal diplomacy. And that means talking to people about what the United States is all about. People want to know what our country is about from people who they think will tell them the truth and not varnish it in any way. So that's what I did. I just went to Brazil. I got back a week ago, and it was a wonderful trip. The people down there are very enamored of President Obama. By seeing a black American be elected president, they really got an idea of what is possible with democracy, and they intend to pursue it. Good things are happening in Brazil. They've just found a whole lot of oil down there, and they're going to spend the money to educate the population and have everybody participate in that democracy. So it was really good for me to get down there at that time and have that experience. There's a young boy there, a very well-dressed young boy, right here. Yes. I can't sign any hats now. I'm going to sign books, but I'll be sure to sign your book.
Does anyone have a question about this?
Yes. If I was asked, I would definitely coach the Knicks. It would be like coming home, but the Knicks aren't going to ask me to coach. We got time for 3 more. This young lady right here. My experience with Bruce Lee in The Game of Death, that was all about Hollywood. That was the magic of Hollywood. We weren't really fighting. We were just out there to earn a living. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Yes, sir, back there. The gentleman is referring to the fact that I coached at Apache Reservation for 1 season back in 98, 99. I haven't had the opportunity to go back there, although one of the kids that I coached, he's now the coach. And he went to University of Arizona on a cross-country scholarship, got his degree, and he's back on the reservation now, and I'm sure he's doing a great job. I talked to him last year, and he's very happy to have that position and be home coaching. This young man right here, okay. Greatest memory of my NBA career is real easy. It was beating the Boston Celtics in 1985. That's right. I'm all through with basketball. I write books now. You gonna read my book? Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Last question here from a Bulls fan. You're a long way from home.
Where you broke the scoring record, and where did Scott, who you shoot it over?
I broke the scoring record. The gentleman asked me where I broke the scoring record. I broke the scoring record in Las Vegas. I shot a hook shot over Mark Eaton of the Utah Jazz.
Wow. And who got you the ball?
I got an assist from Urban Magic Johnson. Another young, well-dressed young man. I like this. Yes. What made me start writing? I really enjoyed writing when I was in grade school, in high school. I went to college at UCLA, and my English teachers there seemed to think that I had some talent. So it was always something in the back of my mind that when I needed to have a real job, maybe I could write. So after I retired from playing professional basketball, I decided I'd write the first book I wrote was a diary on my last season in basketball, and then I wrote a history book, and I've kept writing since then. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. It was fun playing in the NBA, but it was hard work too. But that's passionate. This gentleman asked me who the toughest guy I played against. The toughest guy that guarded me, his name was Nate Turpin. He was a great defensive player. A lot of people beat on me and said that they were playing good defense, but Nate actually did. So I was giving him the nod. Thank you for your questions. If you got any more questions, you can ask me when you come and get your book signed. If I can answer them quick enough, because there's a lot of folks here, we want to sign everybody's books. So thank you all for coming out, and let's get started.
All right, everyone, please stay in your seats. We're going to release the row, one row at a time.